Essentially, there are two economic cycles. There's the long-term one, which may play out over 80 years, for example. And then there are short terms around the long-term cycle. From the 30s, we went up through the post-war, and then in the first decades of this century, we tended to abate. Growth slowed, and we did have a very strong recession. At the same time, there were small cycles around that long-term trend, and those were the ones that determined what the market did, whether investors got bonuses or got fired, and how much money we made or lost in our accounts. You have to care about both. What most people care about is the short term. I think it's important to be conscious of the long term too. "45 years ago, somebody gave me a gift, the three stages of the bull market. So in the first stage, only a few insightful people believe there could be improvement. In the second stage, most people understand that improvement is taking place. And in the third stage, everybody and his brother thinks improvement will go on forever. It's essential to know where we are." That's optimism. In the beginning, there's little optimism in prices. The few smart people who recognize the potential for improvement, if they buy, make a lot of money. But if you buy the same thing in the third stage of the bull market, when everybody has turned bullish and injected a lot of optimism into the price, buying is a dangerous thing, not an attractive thing. Knowing where we stand in the cycle, knowing where emotion is, knowing how much emotion is in the stock price, these are the keys. The pendulum of psychology swings between fear and greed, optimism and pessimism. Where it is in the swing determines the relationship of the asset price to the intrinsic value. We want to buy when the price is low relative to the intrinsic value. There's a discount we can take advantage of. We want to sell when the price is above the intrinsic value. It's a potential loss that we want to escape. If there was only one thing that I could know before making every investment, it would be how much optimism is incorporated in the asset price. When the people setting the asset price are optimistic, then the price is going to be high relative to the value. And we want to know that. That's a cyclical phenomenon that we want to avoid. If there's people setting the asset price are pessimistic and they don't see the future of the company ever being good again, then the price will be low relative to its real value. That's something we want to take advantage of. Years ago, I began to be involved in so-called high-yield bonds. And at that time, I noticed that very high credit standards maintained by myself and other investors limited the amount of issuance that was possible from companies with dim futures. The strong selectivity limited the number of defaults. The low number of defaults helped people maintain their optimism, and so forth. So these steps didn't merely follow each other, but they caused each other. As you'll see in the book, the last word in each step becomes the first word for the next step. And I think that understanding cycles is the key to mastering them. And this causal sense is the way that must be done. Endogenous factors are factors which are within the economy, part of the economy, and exogenous factors are outside the economy but influence it. An endogenous factor might be the technology that's being employed, automation, which might increase the output of the economy over a given period of time. An exogenous factor might be geopolitical developments. A war, for example. War breaks out, people get pessimistic, they They rein in their spending and their investing and their borrowing, and the economy slows. Forces from inside, forces from outside.